Joy Revolution podcast with your boy Mark Cordo, and I'm gonna get right to it today. This dude's a friend, so I'm actually having to read his bio in front of you guys because I didn't know just how powerful my guest is today. Transformational coach. I know him as real and raw, having breakthroughs and healings with him all the time, having real conversations with him. But I didn't know this about you, man. He's deeply involved in cutting edge health technologies, PEMF devices. If you haven't heard of it, we're going to talk about it. Pulse electric magnetic frequencies, plant medicines. Hey, now we're going to talk about plant medicines. And I also want to talk about some of his insights on Centripix VitaStem cells technology. We did talk about it right before the show started. And I've got a link down there. Justin Fatzer, what are you doing on my show? What are you doing here?
You know, that the conversations that we have evolve into such an enlightening state that and a connection between us that it's hard to describe why I'm here. I believe when it aligns, and there's not a reason for everything in life, and that's what how I live it. I don't have to go do something because I need to. I do it because I want to.
I love how I ask that question on my shows, and most people are like, "I'm here because you told me to be here." And you get like all meta with me, like super early, man. We do have these conversations about spirituality and energy and connectedness and consciousness and what the new earth looks like and what the 5D earth looks like. And we're going to get there. But also at the same time, you were a little brat. I wouldn't even call you a brat, but you were this little happy kid growing up on a farm, right? And like here you are now, like this hyper actualized person. Like, talk to me first about this kid. I mean, I think I called you like 2 months ago and you were showing pigs running around. And so like still, I'm guessing you're connected with the farm, dude. So talk to me about like life growing up on the farm.
Yeah.
Little Fatzer.
Yeah. This could go, a couple different ways. Growing up on a farm, people that there's a lot of responsibility, and not knowing what responsibility is as a kid is something that you're just supposed to do. And knowing that working is now knowing what I know now, what I didn't know then is the access of doing the work. And what that looks like is hard work, a lot of outside time. I'm never in the house. I never played video games. None of that stuff. I rode the bike everywhere I go. Wherever I go faster, I'd get on it. I'd take the car. I'm driving at age 13, driving around tractors, quads, cars. It didn't matter. So you had an opportunity, and those are different times back then too. It doesn't matter. Having that ability to be with animals and raising them into responsibilities gives you that self-worth.
Man.
Your contribution, and you don't ever appreciate it. No kids love what they, it's just work. Because we all want to play.
Work. You know what? I'm thinking about like kids in general and us playing and stuff like that. And we are going to be talking about some of those heavy duty spiritual things. But one thing that as I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh, I had so much figured out as a kid. And like a lot of my life has been unlearning to the point where I could get back to being that kid. Yeah. And I mean, there's things that I haven't shared with anybody, dude. Like when I was little, I felt like I was telepathic. I literally felt like I could communicate to people, and especially my mom. Like for some reason, there was this like telepathic bond that I had, and here I am, 20s, 30s, early 40s, like going into things and being like, oh, telepathy is not real. It's not fucking real. There's no empirical data on that. There's no research on that, right? And so when you were that kid that was riding the pigs, and did you wear overalls? Was it like stereotypical kid?
Shit, no, man. I was running.
Or you just running around nude?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, baby, I love it.
With rubber boots on.
I love it. Nude with rubber boots. Manny, can we have a graphic of him? Nude with rubber boots. But like, would there ever be a time where you would just be able to communicate with like the frequency of animals? I don't know if you had horses on your farm.
No. We had a hog farm. We had some sheep. We had some steers. We were in 4-H and FA. My grandfather was an ag professor, and he taught all the farmers in the Central Valley. He's either way, very giving man, understand who my family is and what they've always done. All teachers, all professors. So they've always been giving contribution, which knowing that, yeah, the connection between animals has actually gotten stronger, I believe, now since now that I'm more in my state. I connect a lot real, and we'll probably segue into that. Being a reflector, the human design, understanding,
Reflector. We're going to human design today, huh?
being that understanding now, looking back of my connections and the conditioning that I had being working too much, where being a reflector,
Right.
we're super workers. We could
Yeah.
outwork the generators, and it's not healthy. And that's has brought down the demise of who I was being as a child into the workforce, which is not who I'm supposed to be. And
So what I'm
that,
hearing in terms of health, you're talking about like holistic health. It wasn't healthy not only physically, but maybe spiritually, right?
yes,
Emotionally,
yes,
right? So
very emotional.
you're talking about holistic health here. And then also I like you were talking about having a connection with animals, you know, and I want to go into that in a second. Then almost like that thing was cut off. Like that connection was cut off.
1000%. So, what I know now, knowingly that being a reflector, all of our energy centers are open. To reiterate what that means, it's I'm the 1%. Doesn't mean I'm special or anything. I'm unique. That's all it says. I'm just a
Okay.
unique individual where if I talk to you, I absorb you and I condition myself through the conversations. And then I intensify that. I magnify that you're who you are, who I'm speaking to or being with. I absorb that just as the course leaders that work we do. Same scenario.
That sounds like a very advanced form of listening.
Been told
And
I'm a
where am
good
I off?
listener.
Where am I off?
No, no, you're 100% right. So that's exactly what it is. I can listen impeccably, and then if I'm not engaged, I'm just then it's if Justin or if I am not absorbing and I'm getting related, and here's another thing that goes with that too is when some people are talking to me, I've noticed it more now that I'm in the valley. The frequencies are lower, and people completely connect with me if they are heart opened and they are intentionally
Hmm.
see themselves in
Hmm.
me, which I'm a
Yeah.
reflection of them. And if people can't, they cannot have a conversation with me, and I know exactly where they're at. Like they are completely disconnected from their authentic self.
Yeah, for those of you listening right now, I'm with my buddy Justin Fatzer, and we're going to be taking you on a ride. Now, if you're sitting here listening and you're like, what frequencies, blah, 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 we'll get there. We'll get there. And I'm going to ask those questions as well. And Justin, you know this, I don't know a hell of a lot of stuff. So I'm going to be asking a lot more questions, right? But also at the same time, like you're talking about being able to absorb and take in something, right?
Mhm.
In terms of your listening. That also seems like a form of like being an empath too.
100%. I am an empath. I absorb energies at a very high intensity, and it's conditioned and ruined my life completely.
You're already 8 questions ahead, brother. Like it does. Like I'm guessing at first, you know, the way it landed to me was like, yo, that's his superpower, right? He can really be this empath for groups and be able to navigate around and truly listen further than his five senses. And then I'm like, that also sounds like a bitch to be able to like, or not to be able to like. I mean, as a kid, to not, this is just me putting it out there, standing in your shoes, to come into a room and not know if if my emotions were angry or someone else's emotions were angry, either way would make me miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm hearing.
1000%. You're right. Yeah,
Okay.
it crushes you. So if back in the day, I remember one time where my parents were fighting for some reason, and they never fought ever. And I was crying as a kid, and they stopped fighting because I absorbed so much of their anger or whatever's going on, and this has happened a lot of times. But it it takes over my body. I used to. They
So
used to.
okay, so you were already experiencing this as a kid. You probably didn't know what it was, right? I think that it would be logical for a person who experiences the way that you did, taking in that much stuff, to just want to break and cut it off for a second. Get like energetically, like, let me just cut this off and do my own thing and disconnect for a second. And maybe that wasn't a conscious choice, but I'm not sure. You're talking about frustration here. Was it a conscious choice in retrospect?
Yeah, I would pretty much run away, not run away, but I just get on my bike and ride, take as a child. I just because I
Yeah.
have all this land and orchards and rivers to go to, and so no matter whatever I would do, I mean, let's retract. I got held back when I was in kindergarten because I would not go to school because all I want to do is just be in the nature, be away from people
Well,
or
number
be
one to
with
go to
people too. But
well, number one to go to school, you have to wear clothes, bro. Like your little galoshes and your dingling hanging out, like that just don't work for school, man.
well
But
said.
no,
Well said.
but yo, you like there's a form of education that you're talking about as well. Like I hear you saying that I would run away or I would get away from it, but it doesn't sound like you're running away. It sounds like a retreat to rejuvenate. Like if you
Mhm.
tell me that you're like all these things are happening to you and oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Why? Because like you and I have not had this kind of conversation before, right? So if you're telling me all these things are happening to you, where would you go? You would go to a place that you could go and get counsel from,
Yeah, it would
aka
be.
trees,
Yeah, right. Yeah, or I'd
rivers,
be in the orchard. I'm in orchards and swimming
orchards.
in the canals that or riding my bike and jumping or whatever it was that I could be physically enabling myself to be a part of
And
whatever's
so
out there.
I'm guessing that today that's still a part of your life, part of your healing life, right?
Ye-
Like in terms of the way that health is integrated into your life now.
Yeah, there's a big role in this last year. I've transformed my body because I've been, as we can talk about the injuries too. I've had being that I've now able to structurally be sound and balanced in my body. Now I'm able to be able to use that in the real world as through breath. Obviously, my body being a reflector, you have to be healthy. That's the number one thing. You can't kill us, more or less. Is you can, but you know, it's like we don't die easy. Reflectors, we're here
Yeah.
for a reason. We're who said I have a special recording from Reflectors just for him, and it's he specifically talks like we were here 220 years ago when he spoke, and they're after manifestors. So we are in that realm of being a role model, not so much a leader, but in that world. But we're able to absorb once we're able to be with ourselves, we have that transparency to work with people and give ourselves away in a contribution.
So is this something that you were born with? Like, is this something you develop? Is this something that hey, your soul comes into and has a contract, right? To be like, okay, I'm signing this contract. I'm gonna jump into this kid's body. He's not gonna wear clothes. He's then gonna disconnect for a bit and he's gonna go and make it big and then sell his stuff and then go back to freedom, right? And that's a very, very, very hyper like timeline of your life though. But in terms of jumping in and the origin story of that, are people who are listening right now, are they reflectors by birth, by nurture? Like, how is it that you became a reflector and how do other
So
people's,
got it. Good
yeah.
question. So the question is, so it's all through the neutrino field. As the souls come to Earth, they get that program, that whatever that may be, projector, manifestor, reflector, or projector, or yeah, or generator. I'm sorry, there we go. So you have
Let's go
those
through.
four.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so let's go through each one, but I've never heard the term neutrino field before, but I do know that neutrinos are part of energy, like electrons or something like that, right? So are you saying that a neutrino field is some sort of like electric beam or like something like a transport that takes the soul to the body?
When soul comes from source, and this I do obviously this is what I've learned from Rahu, who's got this channeled down. Either way, when you come through, that's when you land on Earth and you're conceived. That's exactly when they know. That's why you put your full name, where you're born, your date of birth, and the time you're exactly born. You could find out what human design you are. And I never knew this until about 2 years ago. And it just started making sense and things. And then I started researching it more and listening more of how we are and how,
So
and I don't know, I'm
in a,
not like anybody else because I'm
yeah, I know.
all my centers are open. Everyone has defined centers besides the reflector. So,
Okay, so
which,
let's talk about that for a second. You're talking about human design, right? So, on the most basic level, what is human design and what are the aspects of it? Because none of us are, according to human design, we all fall under some of the aspects of human design. And I just wanted to make sure that you're clear about it. Yeah.
yes, yeah, we all do. People want to believe or not. That's not it. That's for true. Most people, I think the stats out there, like 3% maybe know who they are. Actually, how their design works is less than that. I
Okay.
mean, like people don't even know. And this is around Chinese were doing this thousands of years ago. I mean, this is already been, it's, the world of energy.
Okay. So
So
human design is when we are conceived, there's a certain, I don't want to call it an archetype. I don't know what the exact, I just it's
yeah, it
design.
kind of, yeah,
Is it
it's,
an
yeah,
archetype?
yeah. It's the
Okay.
design, yeah, of your archetype.
And so
Yeah.
what are the archetypes?
So you have the reflector, which is 1%, manifestors 7%, and then you
Okay.
have the
So these are people who
projectors.
bring about, who call things in, the
Yeah,
manifester.
these are, yeah, so yeah, they're the ones who usually rule the world more or less, like rule in a way of their leaders, conductors.
Oh, got it. Okay.
They're the ones who are putting things out there and
Okay.
receiving.
Okay.
And then a generator is exactly what it sounds. They're generating. They're making this world work. Like they're workers. Those
How do you know
70%.
how do you know which one you are?
You
You have to
you
take the
go.
test?
Yeah. It's not even a test. You just
Like
put
is
your
there
data in. You just put your stuff in. You go to human design. You can look it up on the web, and you can see what you are. I won't go in depth on it, but it will at least give you an idea
I
of
love it.
what you are. And there's 64 gifts in all of our centers, and there's gifts that are, the light and the dark.
Yeah, but in terms of centers, are you talking about like the major, like the meridian centers in our body?
Yeah, like the
Not really.
chakras, if you
Chakra.
want to
There you
call
go.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Many, like all the chakras. Yes. So there's gifts inside those, and there's channels that connect each chakra if you want to stay there, and there's some that are defined and not defined, open channels. So you could actually go into depth, and you could really see who you, if you are, then if you should be doing the right job. Let alone if you're working in construction and it shows that you're an art, you benefit being an artistic realm.
Yeah, dude.
You want to ship, maybe you want to do paintings and in that kind of
Right.
way, or sculpturing,
Right.
so there's that. This is where the design does come into play to give people more of a direction. And by any means, people that live their lives through that, it's very difficult because
Yeah.
we have the
Yeah.
real world working.
Completely.
So
Completely.
that's kind of why, like, I'm not a part of that in a sense, because all my centers are open.
Got
So
it.
when I'm absorbing your energy as you speak, and I'm connected to you because I'm enrolled in who you are being. So if I'm
How does
able to
that
do that,
feel?
yeah, I love talking to you. I love being with
You
you.
like bathing in it?
I mean, shit. Like our first conversation we had ever meeting on the phone was like 2.5 hours. I mean, obviously, we
I know, man.
there's a connection,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people feel that with themselves too, with other people.
You know what? I'm completely deviating from our script, my questioning route to you. But like you're saying something that is just so fucking like dead on. It's giving me goosebumps again. And it's just from the standpoint of, yeah, I'm totally lit up right now. The power of connecting to another human being. There's like nothing like it. I mean, my palms are getting all hot and I don't know what's going on right now, dude. And I know that's simpleton. Like I go and my character on this podcast is to probe people in an intellectual way to make me look intellectually superior. But that's not it. That's not what I'm thinking right now. That's not what the facade is saying. The facade is saying that this is really about connection.
Hmm.
And it's about honoring the connection. It's about, like when I don't want to say that I sold out and took a leadership role, but like when I went and took a leadership role, Fatzer, you
Yeah,
didn't hear from me.
yeah, yeah,
And just
yeah.
how self-absorbed we can get doing our thing. And I remember you sent me a text and you were like, yo, man, like thinking about you, love you. And like I became such a robot to wanting to become a better person that I forgot that the key to becoming the better person is not to be the robot. It's to connect. And so if I literally wanted to be a better leader who connected or who was leading an organization towards efficiency, it meant connection. And I'm getting it right now. It's coming in hard right now. So I appreciate you for that little wake up call, my friend.
You're very welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah, that's a really big deal with people to understand that we get so involved in out there, like
Yes.
out there, what we forget what's in here. And when we can start to not conceptualize, but come from a different space of
Yeah.
knowing, then
Yeah.
we're able to be with ourselves with that out there. Because that's the separation is we're
Completely.
focus too much out there about what we want, need, wants, don't likes. We forget about it here. So that's where the unhealthiness comes of the mind,
Completely.
body, soul. So 100% where you went. What I get from that
And
is,
by the way, I didn't go evil. It's just more so about the, oh my God, like that was the lesson all along, was connection when I was in that leadership role.
yeah, right. Yeah. And so there's the whole thing of disconnecting to reconnect.
Is this what you're talking? Is this what's going on when you had a crazy successful appraisal business, right? You owned multiple properties. Like, is that what you're talking about? Like going external, and we sometimes have to go external. Did you say sometimes we have to
Yeah.
go external?
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about that, and talk about it from your own life, because what I also love about you is that you're a person who can talk from a very high consciousness level, but you fucking did it. Like, you did go external.
Yeah. So understanding that I was a yes man, everything was a yes. And being my design, I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to wait and sit with things for a month. In 28.5 days, realistically, is a whole moon cycle. I'm on the moon. I'm a lunar being. I'm not a sun being. All the other designs are sun beings. So
Mm.
when I actually surrender myself to somebody, for instance, the business partner at the time, I gave him all my power, and
Okay, so you're
that's the downfall of being a reflector. I give up, I surrender, and I might go and I trust. And being a farmer, we trust everybody. We all help everybody out here. This is what
yeah.
we do. And then when you
Okay.
have people in the city who are manipulating, narcissist, they have other intentions behind what they're up to, put up the facade, and I wasn't be able to read those ways of being. That's where the catastrophe happens.
So did you get screwed a lot? Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah, you got screwed.
Yeah, yeah, lots of three different best friends. Oh, that were they thought I sure enough thought they were. Yeah.
How does this land with you? Because I guess you're reflecting something on me that I see in myself that I don't usually talk about, but is kind of obvious, I guess, to people who know me and I don't talk to about this, right? So the image that I am getting from you is that, so like, this area of your chest is wide open like this, or it was. And like, as a result of that, people could just come and be like, oh, free heart. I'm going to go and reach in, take whatever the fuck I want. And you know what? I don't have to respect this. It was free. So I'm going to throw it on the ground and stomp on it a little bit.
Yeah, they
Is
abuse
that
it.
what you're
Yeah,
okay?
they're totally abuse. Yeah, and it's they're because everyone has the intention of obviously being with others. We always want to be with others because we're humans. That's how our connection is with others. And then when you have the people that want to see, oh, Justin is just going to let me do what I want,
Yeah.
then they have the power.
Now, when you did this, and I want to talk about giving the power away because a lot of people say it, right? But when you experienced some of these things, was there ever an internalization? Did you ever internalize it and go, "Oh, it's because I did that to them. That was my fault that they went and screwed me," or were you just like, "I learned my lesson. I'm not going to interact with a person like that ever again," and then it happened again and again?
Yeah, no, it was well, that's where the drinking and the substance abuse, things of that happened,
Oh,
as
you got on the sauce.
I mean, in the real estate world, people drink a lot. That's like everybody else in the world, but they definitely they're always cocktail hour. So
Did you do hard drugs too?
yeah, I've done
Okay.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
or not everything, but enough to
Did you
enough to
struggle
know.
with did you struggle with addiction?
No, no, I
Okay.
could quit anything anytime.
So
Yeah,
this quite possibly could be okay. So I'm seeing a coping strategy when you're younger, right? To run away. The coping strategy that you were talking about there is totally different. You didn't run away, you numbed out.
yeah, yeah. Suppressed everything, and then just go to work and just make a bunch of money, and then think it's gonna be okay. And I was still unhappy the whole time, even though I had girlfriends along the way and enjoying life and traveling all over the place. Like I was always going somewhere. Didn't matter,
So
but I wasn't
externally
happy.
so
Wasn't
externally
happy.
you were successful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Can you tell
Internally,
me Yeah,
so
can you tell me, let's say that your partner or like the folks that you were around, the people who you might be pleasing, and you came home, right? I throw your keys down, like maybe you go into the bathroom, you go and splash cold water in your face and you look in the mirror. What are you saying to that person, that Justin who is coming back every single day, not happy? Like literally, what are you saying?
it'll be all right. It'll be good. It's okay. We'll get it tomorrow.
God,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Well, there was no spiritual work going on at that time. This happened before, I'd say a couple of years before COVID. I started jumping in Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations and then started realizing, there's more out there. It's not just what I perceive. And the people that are practicing in the world of spirituality or what or their consciousness, let's just stay in the consciousness world, want to be
Hmm.
present with others, you have a sense of that, okay, there's a community, there's a tribe, and that's one big
Mm,
deal with my design. I need to find my community.
okay.
That's where the work we do came in. And yeah, my first 5 years of doing the work, at the end of team one, I woke up. Like I don't like using that word, but I became
Yeah.
conscious.
So
And
Team One is part of an organization in which Justin and I met, and it's part of a leadership and it's a leadership training program. It's also a personal development program. And so I want to go back to something still. Like I'm hearing the breakthrough with Dispenza. I'm hearing you go and getting right sized and finding your tribe and finding them in Landmark. But you also said, again, I wanted to go back to this because a lot of people say, I gave my power away. And
yes.
so, like, there's a lot of different ways, by the way that you started this damn podcast, that we could refer to power right now, Power from the standpoint of energy, power from the standpoint of choice and
Mhm.
agency, power from the standpoint of, being vulnerable. I feel like being vulnerable, not oversharing, but being vulnerable is a form of power, right? And so, like, when you're talking about giving your power away, what does that look like for you or me or anyone who's listening?
It's for me, well, sharing too much information that I know, giving myself so much that I've given to myself, and now sharing it with the world, and them taking that for their own benefit, which is great, but then to use me along the way.
What do you
That's
give it away in the first place for?
what I give away for. Why did
No,
I?
why do people give power away in the first place?
Well, they give power away to be accepted.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it also makes sense that if you have more power, you attract. Like, I don't know.
Correct.
Again, and it's just because of the fact that power here is used so widely, you
Yeah.
know?
Let's bring that word back down to earth.
No, I don't want you to, bro. If you want,
Yeah.
like, I love that you keep it up there, but it's a different way of thinking about power.
Yeah, first thing that comes to me is it's the boundaries. I really learned about where I put down my boundaries, and I just let people do what they would
Got
like
it.
to freely do. And but it was against, it was with me, they're benefiting from me, which is great. And I was receiving. It's just when they take it to the next level of they're taking more and not giving more,
I
not
get it.
giving it. Yeah.
I get
So
it. When I think about giving my power away, I think about sort of my fundamental character flaw. I think I'll always be working on this, but giving power away in order to feel worthy, giving my power away in order to feel like someone can connect with me. Yeah, I gave my power. If someone was like, Mark, you're such a great friend, I didn't want that to end, man. You know how
yeah,
lonely I was as a kid? You know
yeah,
how many times I was like, I wish I wasn't Filipino. I wish I was like everybody else, right? And so then when I get older and I think I'm not having that conversation, the first person that says, dude, you're a really cool guy, I say, cool, what do you need? Do you need
yeah,
my time? Do you
right.
need my money? Do you need my affection? I got myself into trouble with relationships because I didn't particularly wasn't romantically interested in the person, but I wanted them to be happy, right? And maybe that's narcissism. I'm so sucked into it that I don't even see how narcissistic I was. But I'd like to say that it was a form of giving power away, and it was weak, and it didn't result in anything good for me and many times the people who I was around.
Yeah, because there's a sternness that still needs to be done, like for ourselves. Like if anything, it's like a backbone.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah,
Totally. It's
yeah,
like a backbone.
yeah. Because that's one thing I remember hearing at one time when I was going through my transformation is like, you have no backbone, Justin. You could run over him, kind of thing. And I was like, shit. That's okay, but I love being nice and being I like to be with everybody. And then I was trying to reason with myself, put myself as the victim, and going through that whole process, right? And now that that's been gone, it's not so much like I look back upon like, oh, this is what I could have done differently. Yeah, no. I don't even no, none of that. It's already been done. It's like living like I'm the the best soccer player and baseball player around. And that was 20 some years ago, dude.
Wait,
Come
hold
on.
on. You were the best soccer and baseball player around.
No, I was very good and very good at soccer and baseball, and so I got to play in college and soccer and baseball. I picked the
Got
other
it.
instead of baseball. So, but
Okay.
but that's just the part of being a reflector that works. I get overwork anybody. I get out. That's the whole thing, right? More we do things, the more we can program ourselves if you want to go that route. But now it's not so much doing more in order to be something. It's more of just receiving now.
I love how you're like 8 minutes ahead of me in everything you say, and I pull you back. Let's talk about this because everyone knows where you are now. And we were just talking about where you had been. Right? At what, like when you went, like you sounded like you were negotiating for a second there, where you're like, no, but I'm people pleasing to do this and I want to give this away. And I'm like, wait, who's he talking to? And I'm like, is that the plant medicine that he's talking to? But also, so you're at a point, like your point of suffering. You've used words like surrender. You've talked about things like Joe Dispenza, which is what I consider a gateway drug. You know, for me, it was Dr. Dwyer or Dyer. I would see on PBS. That was my gateway drug, right? But at what point did you go from being this person who just freely gives their power away to the person who you are now? Like, what did that search look like? Or did someone in your life come in and say, you need this? Or did you walk on the street and you saw a sign and being like, oh God, that sign's speaking to me right now? Like, what was that first step that you took?
I gotta say, Gaia.
Yeah, Gaia TV, baby. $99. What is it? $99 a month, baby. Best investment ever. What was the show? Was it Ancient Aliens?
You know what? It was everything. It just started to, things started, it was Dispenza really going back through the science and Bruce
Yeah.
Lipton really
Lipton, yeah.
going into the studies of them making them sound like lunatics, and now they all worship the grounds they walk on. It's like all that's why scientists, I'm a scientist or I'm a doctor, like, yeah, but you're one dimensional. Like you don't see past what's going on. You don't see the cure. You just see what you know. And that's why evolve, like people are always evolving, and we're breaking everything. We're always, so that's why I see things as an opportunity, as more of, instead of a like I have to do this. It's like it was at first. I have to do this. It was 1,000%. I have to meditate. How do I meditate? It goes from 1 minute to 5 minutes.
Oh, got it. Your obligations. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to sit with myself, and that's the one thing Dispenza talks about is like, how can you make the body sit? Because everyone
Yeah.
thinks they could do anything,
Yeah.
right? I know you
Yeah.
did wrong. Yeah, you saw what I did wrong. Of course you're gonna tell me what I did wrong. Fucking idiots. It's like it's one of those things is to be an armchair quarterback, and sitting there telling everybody how to do things, but they're not doing anything. So that's going into being.
Completely.
Right. So that's where all my experiences have happened, where I've traveled all around the world. I've done the medicines. I've now understand, like, I've lived that human life of like substances and material things, and having the Range Rovers and the nice cars and the houses, and having all that, and then going and all the clothes that you buy. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me anymore.
Did you ever come home and like fall on the floor and just start crying?
Yeah, I've definitely been in situations where I've not been able to want to go on in life many of times because it's so heavy. No, yeah, for sure. I
Like,
have
did you start planning it out in your head? Like
I
type of stuff?
I've done things that,
Like,
here's
have
one
you
thing about me,
attempted?
listeners. How oh, for sure. I
My
almost did.
God.
Yeah, a couple times.
My God.
And it's not like, oh, you're something's wrong with you. Fucking nothing
No.
wrong with it. It's,
Yeah.
it's fucking called being human. No one's being human. That's the thing, is they're just being a program, a pattern. What they've been going through, and that's what I was. I was that person. I was completely a program. I was so conditioned by society that it took me down the hard knocks of life.
You
And
were a worker bee.
yeah,
You were an
I did
automaton.
anything to be with people, anything to, make people happy, and which I thought would make me happy, but it never did. That's the whole thing. Nothing made me happy when I was out there doing things for other people or giving. It's like, yeah, I give and charities and things, but it's like the guy you just met, I'll buy your dinner or I'll buy your drink or, whatever that may be. It, you think it feels good, but then you walk away like, they didn't even fucking talk to me after that. Oh, they're assholes. No, I'm the one who offered. Like, it's like that's the space where I started seeing things like, okay, there's something more here. And because all the experiences I've had, being like we spoke a lot before, but it's the number one thing in life that I could say is the more experiences you have in this life that you're living, the further you will go to the next, whatever that may be, or this life, right? So the more experiences, so if people have had just the trust fund easy life, they're not fucking
Mm,
happy. No, the
mm.
kid that makes it from the ground up, that's lived in the slums, that can make it through like a Lionel Messi, or somebody that, a singer that comes through. That's the real life of experiencing because it's been so heavy on people. And if you don't have that darkness, man, there's the light's there because you think about it, but the darkness is always walking right next to you. It's like walking through the the shadow of darkness. It's always there with you. It's just a matter you want them next to you or behind you, not in front of you. And that's what
Got it.
it was in front of me. I was
Well,
always
I
facing
gotta tell you this. Number one, I'm so grateful that you suck at suicide.
that.
I'm so grateful that you suck at that, man.
Yeah, thank you. Me
And
too.
then, me too. Now, you're now going into some this, right? So are you saying that happiness comes from doing the work? Is that what I'm hearing? Because you're like, you can be born into a place where ostensibly you're already at a place that most people want to get externally, right?
Yeah.
Versus someone like Messi who started out with nothing and then fucking became the greatest like soccer player in the world for a bunch of years,
Right.
right? So are
Yeah.
you saying that one is better than the other? Like, what am I hearing from you?
I'm saying that there's no black and white on this. It's a straight going. You're for the experiences themselves. If we don't have those experiences, we don't have the opportunity to even understand, to hear the cries or the laughter, or be able to see the failures and the
In your own
success.
life. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
in my own, I'm talking about, and so that's my reflection upon my past is everything that I've done and experienced and be able to be a part of is the nature of being who I am. Like I don't know what I'm going to say. I never do. Like I used to think. Now it's the game
Yeah.
of don't think. Whatever
Yeah.
comes in because that's the
Yeah.
real authentic way of being. And if I'm able to be with that, then I can experience something new then every time because that's the part of the consciousness that we get to live, which is a download, and it's not I'm trying to be too spiritual or anything like that. It's legitimately how you get that bright idea.
Yeah.
Is to start from there. Oh shit.
Well,
I could do this podcast.
I wish you would have told me that you just download instead of me having to make up this fucking semi-structured interview protocol. That thing took me like 90 minutes, bro. So, no, I like again, it was, to kind of break the fourth wall before we hit record. We were talking about what our intentions were for this podcast. And you specifically said, my intention is to be present. And I took that and I said, my intention is for someone to listen to us being present a couple years from now and maybe be moved in a way that would profoundly change the choices that they make in their life, or profoundly moved to be the armchair quarterback slash victim and turn into someone who has agency and sovereignty in the world. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to meet you where you're at, right? You're talking about that's the dark and that's the light. They come hand in hand. And so, right when you said that, and I was thinking about surrender and all that, the way that I, from a language standpoint, interpret that was dude's talking about shadow work.
Yeah. What I get from that is I get shadowness. The shadow work for me is that there's always something that can happen if
Mm.
we don't, if we have too tight of a grip,
Oh, what do you mean
it's
by that? It can happen if we don't have too tight of a
if,
grip.
if if we have too tight of a grip. So if we're forcing outcomes, if we're like we need to get that job or need to get that project, or oh I need to have that girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever is going on with people, it's like our focus is so much on that we're not going to receive it like quicker because we're so fixated on it. And that's a conceptual way of being. The mind is always thinking. That's the number one thing is to where am I at right now? Like I always go down, okay, if things aren't going good, let's go back to the breath first. That's when you go focus on yourself, the body, then everything starts to settle down. Then that nervous gets, as everything in medicine is called, this time shall pass. When we're in a space that's not working, it could be any kind of medicine or it could be any kind of state you're in. It's always just remind ourselves this shall pass, because this is our experience that we're supposed to have. Just like the pain that you have, it eventually will go away. It's the love will eventually go away. Then you have to find it again, and then everything comes and goes. And that's what's the beauty of this life, is to be able to see what's coming and then noticing if we want to grab onto it or not. And that's the thing, is
Mm,
everything's coming at us, and that's the one thing I've grasped even more recently in the last year or so, is let things come to me. Stop
mm.
saying I'll do that, I'll get that done. No, I don't need to do anything just yet. I just need to chill, just need to let it absorb, because a lot of things work themselves out eventually. Just like if there's a
Like a
trauma.
sickness, like a
Yeah, like a
sickness, it will
sick, a
just
hundred, great example. Same thing, I going into my injuries I've had.
yeah.
That's a really big deal when you're tearing the hamstring off your ass at age 13, 12, before you go play in Europe for a summer, didn't heal. So therefore I've had 5 knee surgeries. I've broken my neck. I've, 3 dislocations on my left shoulder, broke my wrist, left elbow, tore my pec bicep. And these are all through soccer, wakeboarding, snowboarding. I mean, pretty much, yeah, soccer again. So you have these situations that are going on that there's always something that you need to work on. And
Right, right. Okay.
they they become a stuck energy, is really what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
Okay.
That's
So I'm glad that you bring that up because I was like, so what is the, I don't want to say story or meaning. Like, so I was going to ask, what is the lesson that you are getting out of these repeated bodily injuries? And from what I'm hearing from you right now, you're saying, well, there's always something, right? Something's always getting tweaked up, and so, what does that look like when you're doing shadow work, when you're doing light work? And you know what? I don't want to get too far into this because I don't need to be
yeah.
pretending like I know all this shit because I don't know a lot of this shit. But there is certain stuff that's going on in terms of your well-being physically. And I guess that can also show up in your well-being emotionally, with relationships, spiritually. Those tweaks can happen quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what I'm thinking about is, yeah, man, I can't believe, yeah, you're bringing out all these stories, right? That all of my woo. But I remember, I was seeing someone, and she was talking about pranic healing and Reiki, and she was super cool. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, whatever. Teach me all this stuff. And I just remember the first time she said, take your hands and let the energy go between your hands.
Mm.
And she was like, okay. And she was like, focus in on it, concentrate. And the next thing I knew, I literally was holding an energy ball, like from like Dragon Ball Z. Like I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And I just remember to me, what that meant was there was a certain amount of freedom that I got when it came to, yeah, there is a Christ consciousness. The things that you were taught may not be, like, it may have been misinterpreted, but you can now use this as a map because that's the best you're going to get, because there is no control manual for your meat suit, dude. And the rest is kind of figuring it out. And I'm hearing that happening with you, right? You're beginning to start with manipulating energy. You're beginning to look at healing modalities, or just going to the fundamentals, which is breathing.
Mhm.
So that was a long way of saying, talk about breathing with me, bro. Or you can talk about energy balls too, if you want.
Yeah, yeah, and energy ball. So, I don't. When I'm around people that have that ability, there's a connection, and knowing that there's a connection, that I could actually receive.
What what
That's
what ability? Like the ability to be able to,
well,
like, heal with your
ability to
hands,
actually, the hands are very powerful for anybody, because that's exactly where we release energy.
and
So
everyone can do it.
yes.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm not, I've not done, I've felt the energy before, yes, that way, and certain moments. It's not something I focus on. I just kind of just go with the flow of everything in life. I don't
Okay.
try to pinpoint one thing down.
Right.
But being with those beings that are very connected, that I know, have a lot of them, especially the people that do the dispensa work. I have some friends that are they're
Yeah.
healers. They're definitely
Yeah.
healers. And which is, That's the key, is to be surround yourself by those people so you can be with those and absorb those energies. And they're not witchery or any of that stuff. These are natural forms of energy we all
Yeah,
have.
that's all a bunch of
Yeah.
bunk. People
Yeah.
putting going and assigning values on people who live a different way that from the norm, right? Okay, I wanna go into like a mini segment because you are talking about breathing, right? And I am a person who has lived quite many years with anxiety, and then definitely as I started getting older, going into things like panic attack, right?
Mm.
And so I remember searching for all the different medicines and modalities and ways of trying to fix this. Like you're talking about trying to not have a panic attack. That makes it worse, bro, right? Don't have a panic attack. Well, it does the opposite. How can things like breathing like help with that? Because we'll go to the next thing. We'll go to the next part after that. But like, teach me something. Like when I can't get a hold of you at like 12 in the morning, I'm gonna go back to this segment right now in terms of like how we can go return to the breath. And
Yeah,
so
the breath.
what's your most powerful, potent, easy way of engaging with breath work?
First off, I would say anybody that wants to heal and sleep at night and be able to calm themselves is to listen preferably, because James Nestor, Breath, the book, hands down, I've done it listened to it 5 times. There's breath work at the end. I've done breath work with the gentleman, amazing guy and amazing writer. And it's all nose breathing. We breathe through our mouths, unfortunately. That's what's going on. So breathing through our nose helps us stimulate, and obviously in a parasympathetic system brings us down into a state of calmness. So, and in order to, as Ram Dass talks about this too, it's like always go back to the breath. Always, because that's internal. That's who we are. That's inside of us. It's not external. I don't need no stimulation from a phone or a TV. It's when we go back
Completely.
to ourselves, we could be with ourselves. And when we could be with ourselves, then we could actually get to what we're up to.
Yeah.
So,
And I
right.
also love that you're talking about parasympathetic because you're talking about nervous system now, right? You're not talking about woo by all by itself and we're all blissed out, type of stuff. You're talking about things like, I don't know, what's the part of the brain that was the reptilian? I think it's still called the reptilian part of the brain, right? In which we still think that there's dinosaurs out to get us. And that used to be something that was beneficial, right? And the fact that you can go through, I've read the book, but I'm not sure if I got the information from the book, but like the fact that you can go and tell the brain, yo, everything's okay. I'm going to shut my mouth and breathe through my nose because I'm not getting chased, bro. And it
Right.
could tell the brain to be like, okay, I'm going to shut down then for a
That
second.
fight or
I'm not going
flight.
to
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. You're looking
Exactly.
at that, and that's right. We're not hunter gatherers anymore. We actually have everything we need right in front of us. So that's the major thing with the DNA. There are certain people that are still stuck in that. It's you know, it's I'm the man. I do all the hard work, and which is
Yeah.
great because that's true. Like
Yeah.
we're that's our ability. In a state, to go and lift big heavy things, and the woman is the feminine energy, that is the power. She's the nucleus, the emotions, the feelings, the love, and that's what brings it all together. And I love that the women are very compassionate and giving, so therefore they have a lot of power. They have a lot more power. Women are able to get to their place of consciousness a lot quicker than men because of they bear children. That's
Yeah, yeah, completely. Now, if you're still with us, I'm with Justin Fatzer. He's my friend. He's also kind of a badass, and we're completely throwing the script aside to just talk about what's up and what's coming up. And I hope that you guys are enjoying this conversation and you're with us. And I wish that we could interact so that you could jump in right now and ask us a question or something or contribute. Now, there is something that I want to talk about in terms of so there's traditional gender roles, biology when it comes to male, female, but then there's also like major energetic archetypes, right? The female energy versus the male energy. Now, many people tell me that I'm of the female energy, and I've got no problem with that. I'm like, cool, dude. So it has nothing to do with biology. So for you, what does sort of the male female paradigm look like, and where do you think it is right now, and where do you think it's going?
So this is kind of just I'm doing all the medicines and hearing from a lot of my friends in Colombia. They've seen that the masculine has gotten less.
Yeah,
It's
I
less.
agree. I agree.
It's the feminine energy. So there it
You
is.
gotta fucking go and take medicine to know that? Come on, bro. You gotta do ayahuasca for that?
No, no. Well, that's just one little thing that showed up. For me, it's an opportunity to
Yeah.
hear from people that I respect,
No, I get
that
it.
that deal with this every day,
Yeah,
every
and you know
day.
what's kind of cool is that maybe your intuition is saying it, but then it gets to be confirmed with a group of other folks, you know. In terms of the masculine, feminine energies and archetypes, just to throw it out for folks who are like, "What? Masculine, feminine?" Like I guess you would consider like the masculine energy sort of the more aggressive, the more individualistic. Like I'm trying not to put value or meaning or positive or negative weight to it,
No,
right?
no, not at all. None of that has any kind of relatedness to one over the other. It's just a straight way of being. Like, if it's a program, because everything's patterns. That's
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. It's the matrix we live in, and people, to understand that, when you think about something and you see it show up that day. I mean, so if the man's always thinking a certain way, it's going to
Right.
keep showing up that way. Same
Yeah.
thing, and that's for the woman to interject, I believe, and then say, "Hey, no, let's go and go chop some wood." Then,
Right. And it's problematic when it's just the female energy as well. You know, what I like about what you're talking about with sort of the male energy is lessened when it's only the male energy. Everyone tries to compensate and follow the male energy and everything gets thrown off, right? You don't truly have a collective anymore. It's a bunch of people wanting to do their own thing. And so when you're telling me the pendulum is kind of swinging back, that's kind of the sweet spot, right? Because like we have the male energy, but then we also have the female energy. And for me, the way that I'm seeing that in the world is look what's happening right now. You know, paradigms are falling down, but even before these paradigms were falling down, we were starting to create things like well, we still are, but we're starting to collectively garden, right?
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
whoa, like everyone is becoming responsible for the space and sharing the space. It's not just like I live in this room, I have my own food. It's literally coming to a point where people are doing that collectively, you know? And what collectively might happen next? Well, education being much more collective, you know, parenting becoming collective, where kids are not just raised by the biological father, mother, or the extended family. You're looking at the community being responsible for the upbringing of the kids. You know, you're looking at indigenous practices that haven't been adopted in the West for maybe ever, right?
yeah.
And I, before you go, I just want to throw this out there. There is an indigenous group, South Africa. I wrote an article about it. I can't remember it right now, but when someone does something wrong, so even before this indigenous group, when someone does something wrong in the West and in history books, they are thrown out of the group. They are sent to a penitentiary. They are sent to a psych ward, or they are just excommunicated from their community. What I think we'll see happening with this indigenous group is that when someone does something wrong, the group will get around this person, and one by one, the group will remind this person who did wrong just how much they mean to them. They will take the responsibility for reconnecting the person.
Yes, there's a lot with that. I mean, I learned a lot of that with Dispenza too, where they go into the jails and they do the work with,
Okay, I don't know
and
about this part.
yeah, yeah, in Mexico, they're doing that, and they were transforming them within a week. Like, people,
What do you
because
mean by transforming them?
transforming meaning they were accepting the responsibilities of the wrongdoings they've done, who have they killed, or whatever thing that they have caused to disrupt whatever the norm is. So that work, just as long as you hear that with other people going into, I think a lot of the people like Alan Watson have done that too, and like a lot of people do that still, and that's the beautiful thing. The work that we do, they do that. Whatever they could do to be able to get people to become conscious and
Mm,
understand that, hey, you can let that go, because that's the main thing, right? We're holding on things from the past. That shit's already been done, man.
right,
All
right.
my losses, and all my wins are gone.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
You're on this shitty podcast now.
Yeah, I'm
Look
in
at
a
how
pod.
far you've come.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the best part is it's a way just to speak it into existence. The life that we want to live. There's something about 0 to 50 years. When you get to a certain point in your life, it's called wisdom. And that's all I keep. It's not. People could read and fucking learn all they want. And that's what all you hear is. But there's so much information out there, but they haven't experienced shit, so they're full of shit. Just because you read a fucking book, doctor, from Rockefeller, doesn't mean you fucking know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I just got murdered.
Yeah.
Let's call them out. Let's call out the shadow government, baby. We're going there.
No, we love everybody. It's a
No,
matter
no,
of
let's talk about the shadow government. Let's go and talk about the new world order. Let's go and talk about it all. We might as well end it with a bang, right? But no, I actually not but no. We're talking about indigenous practices, but also at the same time, I introduced you as a person who is also like into cutting edge technology. And I think that's something that folks are like, wait, we're going back to indigenous practices. We're not going to be wearing pants. That's not what I'm fucking talking about, right? I'm talking about sort of these values in which both the individual and the collective are valued equally, right? And so what I'm here, like what I love about certain things, like when it comes to like the PMF devices that we're about to talk about, you're talking about a new earth in which we get to practice some of these indigenous values. We get to adopt them again, but also at the same time, we get to have things like new technology, right? So like I could see in the future like us looking up into the sky and there's like tracks in the sky because it gets to take us to it'll get to take me back to Sirius B where I think my origins were, right? And also at the same time, like I think about technology in the future being like, okay, we'll turn on the news and maybe it's not the same experience or content that's being shared, but someone will get up there and like just like a weatherman being like, yo, can we talk about Sedona this week, y'all? It's completely lit up right now, and you're gonna want to be there for August, July 22nd to the 28th. Now, for you big planners out there, the Philippines, the southern half of Vortex is gonna open around October. We're all gonna be there. Like, make your plans right now. You know what I mean? And I could see both what's going on with indigenous going to and being merged with technical or technology. Is that something that you see as well?
I see. Well, frequency's always been around. They've been around for 3,000 years. I've been using magnets to heal. So this
Mm-hmm.
technology, this it's always been around scalar waves. And now like the mats that I use, they're micro Tesla. They're not Gauss. Everything out there is Gauss. It's an outdated way of transmitting frequencies.
I
And
just
so
hate Gauss. What the fuck are you talking about?
different
Gauss?
frequency. Yeah.
Micro? What? Okay.
Micro, yeah.
Micro.
So either way,
Let's
how about
start with
this?
the frequencies, brother. Because you're
So
like
yeah.
master level here. And like, I want to make sure that I'm with you. I can continue with you. Hey, are you picking up what I'm throwing down here? Are you digging the Joy Revolution podcast? If so, I invite you to subscribe on this platform. Now, if you want more, I have an online community called The Underground. It's free to sign up. In there, you'll find mini courses inspired by podcasts like this one. You get to connect with other community members. I'm in there. The link's in the description. Let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah, what I know and what I've experienced is through all my injuries I spoke about, nothing was helping me. And I've done stem cell injections in Colombia. I've done the real mesenchymal stem cells twice. I've done PRP, platelet plasma, exosome cells. I've done all kinds of different works.
So, this is all stuff that you would see in medical journals,
Yeah,
like
I mean, yeah,
empirically
and
tested procedures.
yes, this is what people do their last resort usually, and they spend a lot of money to do it.
Got it.
And some people, if they don't change the way they live, they won't change. So I had a choice: spend all the money, heal my body, and come back. So I went straight, vegetarian for 3 months, which is easy. I think I did it for 6 months, but my program was 3 months, and I did the mats,
Mm-hmm.
did my cold plunges, did my sauna, and you get to a certain point and doing the movements with body workers and
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and people that I know that are the best in physical therapy realm for professional athletes. I was able to see people like that, and that's when the healing began. It really made a difference. I believe in my recovery of everything was the mats were the game changer, especially when you have those many injuries going on. The frequencies go into the mitochondria of the cell. So
Mm-hmm.
before they go into the cell, they detoxify the cell. We have 30,000 trillion cells plus in our body. When you're having the frequencies not hitting every cell every time. So
Okay.
it's
So,
got
so
to
what I'm
activate. Yeah.
so what
Go
I'm
ahead.
getting is this. When you're talking about mats, you are talking about like mats with some sort of frequency in it, probably through magnets, I'm guessing.
No, they're Tesla
No?
coils.
Okay, so Tesla coils, and then what are you doing? You're running energy through it, which has
So
Talk
it
to me.
has it sends a current. There are 8 Tesla coils in the mat. It's foldable, travelable, up to 12 pounds. I traveled through Europe and Colombia with them, and wherever I go, I take them wherever I go if I'm traveling. And I'm able to put them in my car when I'm driving. I mean, it's
Like, do you plug them into a source?
no, this is the best
So these
part
are like
because
the okay. Yep,
these
got
are
it.
next level. They're the best in the world. These hands down that are triple patented. Either way, Dr. Kafka, he's out of Germany. He's the innovator of the signal. And these mats, they're wireless, Bluetooth, and up to 18 plus charges, 15 minutes each. And you're able to lay on them full body. It's a full body, like a yoga mat style,
Yeah.
full body mat, but they fold up into a square. And the square itself, so I meditate on those in the morning. And able to reset my body and balance me.
And if you're talking with Tesla coils, also at the same time, like the frequency when you're meditating is also more powerful, I'm guessing too.
Yes, there's different frequencies. It's the acronyms are best. Reset and rejuvenate's the first one. So do before bed, it brings you up, then brings you down. Then balanced is the next one. It's for your meridians.
Hmm.
It takes meridians into balance. Then exercise, energize is the next one.
Hmm.
So it does give you energy. And then synchronize is the brain heart coherence. And then
Hmm.
there's transform at the end. And transform, it goes so deep, it goes pretty much into the bone marrow. It goes down and
Which is where a lot of some of the
yeah,
injuries go
yeah,
to, right?
yeah.
So, okay, and I'm guessing, okay, the first thing I thought was like, yo, I can just lay my fat ass on this mat and everything will be okay. So I'm like, okay, I think that's a certain level. But I'm wondering also if there's a program that comes with it when you're on the mat where, I don't know, like there's a breathing technique or there's a visualization. I don't know, like if you've got a knee injury, maybe visualizing and being on the mat at the same time could like have an exponential healing effect. I'm not sure. So talk to me, Goose. Can it
Yeah.
just be like, I want to get a mat and lie on it?
I mean, yeah, people. So the mats themselves, like when you do, if you, and we know by thought alone, we're able to heal. Like their bodies heal naturally on their own. This is the whole thing with people. To go back to Dr. Joe Dispenza, he literally he got ran over by a Ford Bronco by a lady who was doing a triathlon on his bike. Got ran over. They ran him over. Went to the
Busted
hospital,
his
broke
back in half.
back, yeah, completely done. He said, no surgery, take me home. 6 months later, he was on a bike. By thought alone, through his meditations, he brought himself to be who he was before. So when you're like you're saying, being on the mat, if you do have a knee injury and you could focus on let that pain go,
Yep.
let the pain go, it will decease. So yes, the breath work too. For me, breath work is always impeccable. Definitely start with the breath no matter what for anything, to calm yourself, as we know through meditation, and to get to that state of nothingness. And that's the whole thing is when thoughts come in, we just got to say, not now, not now. Or create a mantra, which should be
It's
given to you.
always yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, when it comes to something like Centripix VitaStem cells technology, is that something completely different? Because I'm not going to
So
say it much more. I'm going to say it like
yeah,
two more times.
yeah,
It's
you're
too
funny.
hard for me to pronounce. But like, what is that?
So that's the mats.
So okay, got it, got it. So
Yeah,
these babies, that's the term for these babies. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna put
yeah.
that link in the description. I think I'm gonna be picking that one up. I had a seizure in 2000. I don't remember when. It was in the 2000. I had a seizure, and my back has never been the same. It
Mm.
wasn't broken. They put me through physical therapy. I've gone through acupuncture, deep tissue massage, all these types of things. And I wonder what the power of me just visualizing the pain going away and being on one of these mats might look like. Now, would that be out of the realm? Because that's why I would pick one up is to
No,
like,
oh, I've
and it's
that
been over
yeah.
15, 16 years too that I deal
Yeah,
with this.
100%. I get it. Yeah, the one thing with the mats is they, especially on the transform, if you really have a hurt back or a knee or something, like for instance, if I tweak something from working out, I will go home and I'll put that. I have a big one and a small one. There's a Maxine and a Mini Cloud, and I'll put the little one on I localize it on, and no doubt the pain will go away. And that's because The main thing is this: what the body needs to heal, it's inflammation, right? So we need to clear the inflammation. We need to get new blood there. That's the number one thing with any injury. That's why people, like, they hurt their knee and then, like, oh, it's been 5 years, my knee still hurts. Well, they haven't moved that blood, for one. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things you could do, but really it's really just getting the blood flow to keep going and breaking it down. That's the same thing like with stem cells. You get inject into that my knee, those stem cells go to what's hurt.
Mm,
So that's why, same thing with the frequencies. When it hits, it's definitely it's going to that area. It's actually healing that area, localizing it. So it has you have an opportunity to. It's not something like, oh, it's better. Some people I've done, like, for instance, I was at an event one time and we were giving a presentation, and literally this guy has a super motocross, you know, professional, rides, but his knees blown out, everything, hasn't been able to squat in
yeah.
15 years, 20 years. He did the mat for 45 minutes and he was jumping up and down going, I've not done that in 15 years. What is these
Hmm.
mat?
Hmm.
So everybody has a different effect on them.
Okay.
And that's what's beauty. The more connected I believe you are to yourself, the quicker you can receive those
I feel
frequencies.
like you're bringing in a lot of this stuff together. We started off with frequencies, then we talked about maybe meridians. I can't remember the
Right.
exact term. We talked about healing through the hands, energy, and we talked about how some things just work whether you believe in it or not, right? Because we talked about the power of belief. But now you're talking about you don't have to believe in something. Just lie on the mat and let science do its job, baby. And
Right.
I that's what I'm guessing. Are these things expensive? I'm thinking they are. Yeah, look at his
So,
eyes, man.
about
Look at his
4 grand for
eyes.
the big mat, for the class, for
Oh,
the
that's all
big
right.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the set, I mean, and also there's actually this thing called the bubble. The bubble 2 is actually sends same frequencies up to 1,000 hertz. I could program it on my phone. It's actually set on 528 hertz right now, which is love frequency.
That's around
And
Joy. Okay.
yeah.
No,
So yeah,
Joy's 540, I think, right?
yeah, I think you're right.
Well, you think I'm
But
not I'm not
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not wise in the game, huh?
I don't know. I always just look for joy.
Got it. I as we're winding down, I want to take it back to frequencies, right? And we don't have to go into the scientific parts of things from what I know, or no, there's a knowing that's coming in. I'm coming to my wisdom year, my friend. I'm 2 years away from my wisdom year. So are you. You're 1 year. And I think about, folks are like, everyone has this sort of frequency, and they move themselves up, but also they can have a range of it. So I could be like 900 godlike state, and then the next day I could be like the biggest asshole ever, right? And so those things fluctuate. I was okay. So oh man, we've got so much to talk about. This might open up a whole other can of whoop ass. Around the time when my dad was getting ill, right?
Hmm.
I was having vivid dreams in which they were saying direct messages to me. I was felt like I was being taught things, and they were like, "Hey, guess what? Like your life, I'm thinking your skills as a human can be turned up or turned down. So if all of this is too much for you, just say turn it down. If you want to go and take in more, turn it up." And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So my dad passes like within that month. And I just remember being like, what am I supposed to, like, I don't even know how to handle it. It's just reality is different. There's a person who I knew that was here who is not, but I still feel him here, but he's not, right? So there's all this stuff going on. I started getting into this existential crisis about why do we live? Like, what's the purpose of this if we're all going to go, right? And there were things, I don't want to call them messages. It was almost just like, this is what you need to do. And so I'm just like, how do I deal? And it's like, take your shoes off, dude, and walk on the ground. Stop walking on concrete. Like, walk on the grass. And I'm like, fine. And like, we're into hour number 115. So maybe people aren't even listening now. But this is for you and I, man. I was
Yeah,
told to sit by a tree.
yeah, yeah,
Let it love on you,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now this is the part where I thought I'm going bonkers, Justin. Sounds like Dr. fucking Doolittle here. But when I would be sitting out there, I lived in the South my whole life. Lizards are all over the place, right? They run from you, they scatter wherever you go. They would inevitably, and multiple times, would come up, look at me like this, right? And climb onto my hand.
Mm.
And I can't help but think that I was a different frequency, and that's why they were responding to that. And I want to see what you think. I mean, you don't have to be doctor diagnosis here and tell me to go and sit on a Tesla coil mat. But like, what's your take on something like that, where your whole life, your world is a certain way, then all of a sudden you are just like, it was instinctual. That's what it was. It wasn't a message. It was like, take your shoes off and go on the grass.
Right.
I think I'm gonna sit by a tree.
So yeah, that's talking about energies. There's a lot of people out there, people that don't even talk about it, that are very connected, as we know. That what that looks like is connected as they have beings that come into their dreams, or they show up and then wake them up, and or it's could be someone they don't even know, they won't even let them see them. I personally, my experience has been a little bit, now lately I've been feeling more presence of other things around me, like
Have you
knowing.
seen disembodied things?
No, I have not. No, I
But
have
you've
not.
sensed them. You can sense
Oh
them.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could definitely sense them. And it's not so much a good or a bad. It's more of just like a feeling, like you said. It's a frequency. It's a like you almost like someone's there, or you see something. Those things, like, oh, I'm not going crazy. I know, like, I'm here
And
by
that's why
myself.
And that's why I was asking you when you were a kid, like if there were times like that where you would see something go by and it's like, no, that's real.
Yeah, as a kid, I wasn't raised like that. It was a straight farming style. If there was some spirituality of some sort in our family, I'm sure that that would have been bring awareness to me. I'm sure that's the case because I was always barefooted, running around everywhere.
Yeah, you
And
already
that's
had what took me
yeah.
48 years, man.
Yeah, so there the grounding into the earth is a really big deal, and people, it's starting to become more common, which is great because people, it brings their energy through the feet, and that's where we receive. So I love the fact of I'm always on barefooted anywhere I can. So
Yeah,
out
you
here,
are.
so
Every time
yeah.
we get on the, like, I think you called me one day and it was like, what was it? FaceTime or something? I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
put on some clothes, boy. Like, come on, dog. Okay, so we're gonna go into the speed round now.
Right on.
What's your conception of God?
We all are.
So we are God.
Yeah,
Were we
everybody
made by
is.
God?
Well, what does that mean? How does that occur to you as made by God? Like we're, well, because these bodies are not, these bodies are residual effect,
They're
but
the
we are a part.
avatars.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we are a piece of. That's
Got it. Okay. So the way that I'm when you asked me what I was thinking, the picture came up as if like it was just kind of this big collective, like I don't even know what to call it, but it's just sort of unformed ooze, right? And then I could see like a drop, tiny drop coming from it and going into the avatar body.
going through the neutrino field into the avatar body.
Got it.
Yes, and that's how we're that's our makeup. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So if we are these infinite beings having a human experience, like what's the game here? What's the end game of this, if there is one?
So there is no end game because that's the whole thing. We keep going.
So is because we as God are so bored in our infinite power that we have to play games like these and be like, I'm gonna have you forget that you're God for a little bit, and there is no game. Just go around and suffer.
Yeah, well, because on Earth, because we have that program from the fear, from the bodies, from ancestral. For thousands and thousands of years, we've been slaves of some sort from our whatever planets, or not, not planets, whatever countries where we lived. So we have that fear, fight or flight. So fear isn't everybody. It's fear of love, fear of money, making too much money, not having enough money, right? Fear is always there no matter what. Fear someone don't love you, whatever that may be. That's, to me, that's the experience of letting that go. That's why people are starting to become more conscious and more aware of what's going on, because they're releasing that, like, okay, I have to worry about this. No, when you start to give up and let go of things, what do you have? Nothing.
Is that
When
what
you
you
come
mean by
from nothing,
surrender?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
When you come from nothing, you have everything to create. It's the possibility for the opportunity. You have, that's the way I look at it now. That's the way I see it. That's why I feel it. That's why I live. It's not so much that's the answer for anybody, but for me it works. That's what's working for me. So it's really, and one thing too is you have to give up something in order to receive. So for instance, if you are an avid drinker and you're like, I want something, I want a woman in my life, can't find one, stop drinking. She'll show up. I work all this much and I want to have this. Okay, then you stop working as much and give yourself time to yourself, something's going to show up. It's
Why
always
is it like that, dude?
because we're conceptual. Everyone's conceptual. It's like I know everything. I know there's everyone's getting everyone's so fucking smart, but they're in their head. They can't. They're talking from a program. They're not talking from their authentic self. That's the main thing. Is I'm in a state of now I see what's going on in my life. It's my ultimate goal in life is to be conscious. That's it. I don't care about anything else. Because when I'm conscious, I don't need my mind. I already know everything because I've
But then
already
you're talking
seen
about the
everything.
game. You're
Yeah,
talking about the
it's
game
because
then. The game is to become more conscious.
yes, it's 100%.
Okay.
And some people are here not to be conscious too. Some people are just to be their program, and that's the material world. They love it.
Those
Go
those
for it,
background
guys.
players. I
You
forgot what
guys
it
go
was.
for it. Make all the money. That's great. Do the greed. Have fun. Nothing wrong with making money. It's a matter of when it takes you out of your game.
So am I a character in your game?
You're always a character in my game, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I
And
believe
are you a
you're
character in my
intricate.
game?
Yeah, for sure. There's first time I spoke to you, I knew there's very something special about you, and we got that connected too. You know that we were connected somehow, and knowingly that's what I'm talking about. The tribe.
Got it.
You know.
Got it. Now let's talk about the tribe. Did you think I was handsome when you first met me?
Yeah, I think you're a very handsome man for sure.
Did you think I was one of the top 5 most handsome Asian men you've ever met?
Of course, with that hair, who couldn't be that guy like you?
No, this receding hairline. Thank you, leadership program that I was just in. I'm growing it back. I'm gonna put the fucking Tesla quills on my scalp.
There you go.
I bet you that will work, right? If I put it
I
like
mean,
localized on my scalp.
it does energize
I'm gonna
it
come
energizes
back
the cell.
looking like Mr. Miyagi. The whole thing's gonna be gone on the top from the mat, dude. Let's talk about the tribe.
So tribe wise is the ability to go to a group and be able to share your ways of what's working, not working, but what's really in your space that you cannot conceptually understand. There's a reason why we cannot go and change is because we're trying to do that with ourselves. Like conceptually going, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to the gym and because I haven't worked out in 5 years. Yeah. Or I'm going to stop drinking soda, whatever. But still you go back to it. The body remembers everything you've already done your whole life. That's where Dr. Joe Dispenza comes in. You're already going to the fridge before you know you're going to the fridge. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. Yep.
the body has a memory, and that's the whole
Yep.
thing. You have to break the memory. And that's
Yep.
what people, it's so hard for them to sit and meditate or for them to go and say, I can't go do the medicines or whatever may be going on in their lives. So that's the whole thing is to understand that.
You know what? I absolutely love that. I was like, okay, conceptually that makes sense. But then I'm even thinking about like, yo, hardcore Catholic here growing up, right? And I remember giving up soda for Lent, right? Because I'm like, that's my jam right there, right? And I remember there were times where I knew I gave it up, but still I would look at the table, there would be a soda on the counter. I would open it, my hand would put it into my mouth without a thought. It was like it commanded itself. And I've known plenty of folks in the like addiction space, and I consider that one of my addictions, like growing up with sugar and stuff like that. But it's almost like no, it's not almost. It's what you're talking about. The body acclimates to it, and it doesn't even take it. It doesn't even. It's like the signal doesn't even go to the brain. You just pick it up and do it.
Percent. Well done. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah. No, well done.
I used
Yeah.
to smoke, and it was easy for me to do that. But people used to talk about the effect of taking out a pack and they just, without thinking, put it in their mouth and they light it. It's just part of what the meat suit does. And how do you work through it? Well, part of that is, I'm guessing, frequency work, and I'm also guessing you surround yourself with people who enhance your whole being.
Yeah. So going to that space, exactly what you said. So, and what I had to do in order to break free was to
Mhm.
leave everything behind. And meaning friends, people that I used to be with all the time. And the whole thing is we're always surrounding ourselves by people, or I was. And it was not
Was this the
because,
people who you were people pleasing?
yeah, of
Okay.
course. Yeah, anybody and everybody. And
Was
in
this also
order,
your family, members of your family?
like pretty much everybody. Yeah,
Wow.
I had to reset completely. Like I totally did a hard reset, reboot,
Was
and
this after trying to take your life?
Yeah.
or was
Yeah.
it? Okay, so
Yeah. That was it. Was that was the eye opening. I started looking in myself in the mirror and be like, "What are you doing? What are you really up to?" Like really, because that's really when you look in the mirror and talk to yourself, you are now talking to your true self, I believe, and not talking to in a phone or anything. It really gets you to the space of I don't know. I got real deep connections, especially when I look myself in the mirror, especially in those hard times. It really gave me that access to, okay, let's just go ahead and realize this is not working. Like,
mm,
what are we do to change right now? And that's the only way I was able to start to shift and move. And then, if I could say anything, it's you have to put yourself in the work. If that's something you want to do in life, if you want to change, you have to do your mental work or your transformational work, whatever that may be. That's just yeah.
okay, so I'm hearing about the transformational work, right? Do you believe in things like a higher self?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it then? What is a higher self?
The higher
Especially if we're
self.
God already. What is
Yeah.
a higher
Yeah.
self? What's higher than
Well,
God?
the thing is, we're trapped in these bodies, more or less, is how I look at it. Trapped in a way of it's a gift we could be in these, because I believe that it is a gift to be here now. And so the higher self itself is the intelligence of us as a collective. Is
Or wisdom?
higher.
So higher self might also be more than one.
Yeah, it's all of us in the higher realm. It's
And my guess
source.
is also one that's not restricted by the corporeal, like the body, the physical. Like the higher self is something that's already liberated from that and has a perspective that we can't see because we're bound to the body
It's our
and all
channel.
the.
It's our channel. It's a complete channel.
How do we connect with our higher self then?
It is to slow the mind and the body down. We have to sit with our. Why do you think people go to dark rooms? And they stay there for 3, 4, 5, 7 days.
Yeah.
Because they have to be with themselves. And then when they walk out of those places, and I've had many friends do them, conscious is all. They're just the happiest, loving people in the world.
You know what? Completely. And something like that from a brain perspective would be like a dopamine reset. Like if you take yourself away from all these things, even you and I being on the internet right now, recording this, there's dopamine that's coming out. I could also see, so what you're talking about being like, let's go and connect with your higher self by going into these dark rooms. And it's also like, let's go and reset the addictions on your body. And then when you do more and more of these things, your body gets more attuned to what else could be going on out there.
It's
Look,
a,
he's
it
got this proud like smile right now, y'all. I don't know if you're still watching it.
it all goes back to balance. Here's the thing is everyone's always trying to get something. I was always trying to get something. There's nothing to get. That's the thing. There's nothing. It's already everything's now. Like we don't like they said tomorrow is not there's no such thing as tomorrow. It's Alan Watts, It's because now is now. There's tomorrow never come. So why so now is the focus. What are we going to do? It's like there's someone you need to be in communication with. Pick the phone up because tomorrow night might not be here. It's like that's why the now is so powerful. And sometimes that's just the way it works. I like the whole aspect of understanding that I don't need anything out there.
Mm.
It's a gift if something comes to me. It really is. And when we're not conscious, we're not present, we don't see things that are around us. And that's why people are always trying to work harder on them on life as opposed to just being with themselves, and then it shall come. It does come.
This is coming together quite nicely, my friend, because I don't even have to take notes. My ADHD is cured for right now, because I'm thinking about within maybe the first 15 minutes of this discussion, we were talking about how you and I, but you, from the interviewee standpoint, were walking around giving your power away with an open heart, an open chest, and people could reach right in. And what I was thinking about this whole time is this guy, oh yeah, goosebumps starting from the ankles to the dome right
Mhm.
now. Like, this guy is not talking about changing that, because I was taking notes and I was like, okay, so this is going to be talking about raising our psychological and spiritual and energetic defenses. And I think that's part of it. But when you go and talk about a tribe, when you are with tribe, connected with higher self, you can now be the Justin that you, yeah, Goosebumps like crazy. You can be the Justin that you should have been. You can be the Justin walking out with the open heart, and none of us, me part of the tribe, and I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm
Yeah.
actually going to praise you more and more and more for doing that. And members of your tribe are just going to we're going to hold space. We're not going to reach in there and deceive you like you'd been before. We're going to give you what you had always been seeking. And you don't have to give your fucking power away.
Yeah. It's freedom. It's all
Do you
freedom.
feel like you live in freedom right now?
Freedom, yes, for sure. Yeah. It's been a long year. Yeah, freedom to choose, freedom not to go anywhere, freedom to do what I need to do. And I listen to the body. If Justin's like, hey, let's go to the gym, or let's go do Pilates, let's go do a spin, or whatever it may be, or let's go out in the orchard and walk barefooted, or whatever may be going on, or go up to the mountains. Like that's intuitively, like we all have to have that intuition, like be intuitive of, and that's one thing I definitely have, being intentional,
Got
really,
it.
like being intentional with what we're doing. And sometimes, it's like I play that both sides of it. Sometimes I'm like, no, I don't need to go do that, I'm just going to sit right here.
Are you afraid to die?
No,
Why not?
I already died.
Yo, did you hear that, Manny? Motherfucker already died. And it's brilliant. You already died. So you're not afraid to. Are
Yeah.
you afraid of anything right now?
No, not at all. No. I'm being that I've gone through what I've gone through at the extent I've gone through. When it's time, it's time. And if it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Got it.
I really am.
I like to say that I'm at that level of evolution, but I'm nowhere close to you, dude. I will have these breakthroughs in which I will experience freedom, but ultimately my paradigm is always set towards fear. And so I'll feel the freedom, and then it goes back to the fear again. And then there's an awareness of the fear, which allows me to go back into freedom. And so there's this vacillation of the two. And for me, what does that look like to work towards an enlightened life, a more conscious life? That is to put myself in situations that scare me right now, And for me, it was where we met, right? Putting myself in a situation in which I'm like the new kid on the block. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, all the pressure of, a certain region is falling on my shoulders. And more than anything else, to be able to come back and after all the meetings are done and, I feel disconnected. I don't feel like I can call you. The phone is 200 pounds, right? I'm not connecting to anybody. And at the end of the day, being like, why am I doing all of this stuff? And I felt that freedom at the very beginning of this conversation. Why do I do this stuff is to feel that freedom.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And to
Yeah.
live in it more and more and more, and be aware when I'm not in it. So yeah.
Yeah. There's really something about challenging. That's why I've been through so many things, to challenge and experience so many different things, that you're at a point when you're like, okay, I've done a lot. I've suffered enough.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough. And now you go, okay, now I can live.
Got it.
That's, yeah, like to me, it's just a space that it takes time. For me, it took a lot of time, a lot of work, and there was a commitment there, because I know I did not like I didn't like who I was being. I didn't like what I turned into, and I didn't like the people that were around me in a state of, I loved them all at one point. It's just I was so disconnected from myself that I didn't know how to be with those people.
Okay, so let's talk through this stuff. You're a kid, pigs, family, sensitive, connected through the woods, nature, disconnected from everything, ostensibly getting everything you want, the sex, the drugs, the rock and roll, the bump, whatever, the cash, right? Sell all of that for freedom. We didn't talk about this. One testicle falls off, right? So you've gone through a lot of stuff, right? Do I have to edit that one testicle part?
No, that's
Okay.
It's radiation. It's from the cell phone. So
I know,
people
I
should know
know.
about that.
Yeah.
They should know
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So you go through all of that. What do you say to the person who's listening right now, who's still afraid or doesn't want to listen to the inner knowledge?
Who's the one person that I listen to?
No, there's a person that's listening right now.
Oh, got it.
Because we're going into like hour 30 of this baby. We said that we would go over, right? So we're going into hour number 30, and someone's been listening here the whole time. And it might just be one person 5 years from now, it's 2030, right? And they're hearing your story about how you've gone from, being this farm kid who had no clothes on to, being very sensitive and an empath who'd go into the woods. Then your story went and arced in a different direction where you went and disconnected and you started things that were ostensibly successful when internally you were not satiated or satisfied. You tried to unalive yourself, right? And then here you are talking about ultimate freedom and lack of fear, in terms of where you are in your life, right? So for this person who's listening 5 years from now, and they're still not listening to their inner knowledge, they still are not being able to connect that they are made in the likeness of God. What do you say to the person who's resistant right now, who's listening?
Well, to that, on that point, I'd say for me is to go back down to be with yourself in conclusion, like conclude yourself to one space and to understand to let everything else outside go and go back to balance. Go back to yourself. Like you have to be with yourself in order to understand yourself to be able to even be with those kind of people or the out of the world that's out there. So I say personally, it's do something that you normally don't do.
Mm.
So one thing is you always go to work the same way, go a different route. I don't care if it takes 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a different coffee shop. Go talk to the person you never talked to. You have to change. And then that's the easiest way to do it is when you're slowly doing things like that. So other than that, yeah,
I feel that. I feel that. You're talking about adding a sense of novelty to an automated life, right? There's always a different perspective that you can take. And I'm going to go and add to that since you and I are from the same tribe. And it's what I got in the first 15 minutes is that as you're doing these novel things, you can also continue to surround yourself with people who can see, hear, feel, and love you, right? Engage in projects that matter to you. And then what does that look like? From what I got from you, it's, well, you get to be in the present and not always chasing something up the future that will never satisfy you. That's what I'm getting from this, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how great is this podcast so far?
I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.
Oh, shit, we got a 9. Okay, so Manny, my producer right now, is saying he is not happy that it's a 9. It's usually an 11 around this point when we go to hour number 30, right? So he's taking me off of the steering wheel. And so my producer, Manny, actually wants to play a game with you now that you want to fuck around and say this is a 9 out of 10 show. You want to do it with this guy? Okay. He's going to, do you want to play a game?
I'd love to play your game.
Okay. This is not a game in the world. This is a game in the multiverse, baby. This is a real game right here, right? So I got to tell you, no one ever wins this game. And from our leadership tribe, Aaron did this, failed. Manny failed him. Annie took this. He failed her. Like, are you sure? Well, he's sure. Okay, you're fucked, dog.
I love it.
Let's see.
When have I not failed?
In about 5 seconds, said Manny.
The failing is actually the way of learning, so therefore I shall learn.
And for the sake of that leadership tribe, for Aaron, for Annie, and for all the people who are going to be coming on soon, you need to fight for our honor.
All right.
Against Manny. So this is the game. He's going to ask you 5 questions. You've been talking about joy. You've been talking about happiness. The name of the podcast is The Joy Revolution. And so he wants to know how you embody joy. And he's going to ask you 5 questions. It's not even a question. He's going to read 5 semi-statements and you go and complete the sentence. You can either do that by one word or you can do it by a whole fucking diatribe if you want, right?
Got it.
So with that, he said he got it. Okay. So with that said, Manny wants to ask you the first question, and it's this. Joy tastes like
love.
Love? You don't see it. I can see it. It's a multi-million-dollar studio right over here. Manny is taking out a plush sugary heart that says love on it. He's biting it like a hamburger. Mouthful. Giving you a thumbs up. I have never seen this happen before. +1. Joy does taste like love. Welcome to the game, brother. You're correct. You are true. Okay. 1 point. 1 question. Second question is this. Joy smells like.
Ooh, roses.
You know that plush hamburger heart he was just eating? He just went and turned it inside out, and it's a gigantic rose, man. And he's sniffing it like this. He's rubbing his nose against it. My man, mouthful of love, nose full of roses. You are correct by Manny. +2. I got to tell you, I wish Aaron and Annie had it this easy, man. They were getting demolished at this point, man. Take it for West Southwest team. Let's do this. Once West Southwest, always West Southwest. 2 points going into question number 3. Question number 3. Joy sounds like.
I mean, I would say just a jungle of birds.
I have no idea how this is going down. So he has a door in the back of the studio that I always thought connects to a hall. He is opening the door. It's the Amazon rainforest. There's a toucan. There's an iguana. There's rain. It's all coming down. And Manny's going like this, listening to it. You are correct. Joy does sound like a rainforest. Where are you getting this, dude? Okay, you're 3 points, 3 questions, right? Okay, let's take it home. You're ahead of the game. Joy looks
like Manny.
There's a mirror coming down in front of the studio. Manny has aviator glasses on. And he's turning it down. He's leaning into himself. He's got a partial smile. And he smashes the mirror. He hates the way he looks. He's smashing it over and over and over. Minus 1,000 points. You are now at 997 points. You never make Manny look at himself, man. What in the hell is wrong with you? Manny, do not quit, dog. All right. I told you. I warned you not to play this game. All right, 4 questions going into the last question. You're at negative 997 points right now. My man, let's just finish it off. Like, just answer it for the sake of getting over this. Joy feels like
me.
Broken mirrors going up. Manny is leaning in. He's nuzzling up against your aura. Single tear coming down his face. Joy feels like Justin Fatzer is the writer. 998 points, bro. Congratulations. Manny let you win. Manny, you beat Manny's game. But guess what, bro? Extra credit is through Mark Cordone, my man. So you and I are gonna play extra credit. The reason that I call this a joy revolution is because of 2 things happening simultaneously. First, a joy revolution, and I hope you felt it, I know you felt it, is internally experiencing the world in a way that your heart feels full and overfloweth, and you don't even know what to do. You're just so full. So that's an inner joy revolution, right?
Yeah.
Also, a joy revolution can be one in which you come out and say, I'm abandoning everything, man. I'm going to go and lead the world using joy. I'm going to use joy as a leadership tool. Some people call this an ikigai. Other people call this a game in the world. I call it a joy revolution. So Justin Fatzer, what is your joy revolution?
My joy revolution is being a role model moving forward for the community that I can embrace. And that's endless. I have no idea what it looks like at all. I have a sense, but it's leaning into that and bringing that into the conversation and given that. It's just as I'm practicing listening for love in a conversation, not the hate.
Love it. Got it.
So joy came to me the other day too about that. Like, yeah, that's a great way of being.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels good.
I miss
and it's
it.
not
Yeah. Like I miss
and it's not a way of being blissed out where you don't take care of your responsibilities.
No,
it's
no.
joy on earth.
Yeah,
brother. What do you think? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had an amazing time. I
Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise. You completely took me out of my podcast persona, but it was great being Mark with you because that's always who I am with you. And so I appreciate you. Y'all, I don't know about you, but I'm picking up one of your mats, dude. I'm going to pick up one of, I forgot what you're calling this thing, but.
The bubble too.
The bubble. Yeah. I'm going to pick that up. Everything is in the show notes. So on behalf of Justin and myself, For your sake, for my sake, for our sake, for goodness sake, start your revolution. Start it in love, in light, in shadow, and in joy, baby.
Beautiful. Thank you, my man.
All right, this wraps up another episode of the Joy Revolution podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And since you made it this far, go ahead and hit subscribe. Now, if you want to hear more podcasts, or if you're ready to engage with a community who will support and challenge you, if you're ready to start your own Joy Revolution, head on over to my online community, The Underground. The link is in the description. It's free to sign up. I've got a bunch of resources in there, including my own Joy Revolution course. So until next time, I'm Mark Cordone Creative. Dig deep, and I'll see you in the underground.